Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project, bringing you a grand solar minimum update on Friday, October 26th at 10:39 p.m. Boom time, Mountain Time. You're looking at a boom, hopefully that will never, ever hit the Gulf of Mexico. But eruptions in the Cascade region during the past 4,000 years have been hitting, and they ain't quitting. Take a look at the red dashed line. Yes, this is the Dalton minimum, just 200 years ago from present. And the entire Cascade range was rocking. Mount Lassen, Mount Shasta, Mount Hood, Mount St. Helens, Quintuple Boom, Mount Rainier, Glacier Peak. Can you say Mount Baker? We're no faker. Let's get on with the update and we'll be back to that. The U.S. government has just put out their updates, and we're going to be talking about them. It looks like January right now, but Al Gore is nowhere to be found. October cold, snow are a boon. And that's a boom for New England skiers looking to enjoy early start to the season. They're drinking whiskey, smoking weed, and taking names on the slopes up in New England. It's true, skiers and snowboarders in New England are gearing up for some pre-Halloween slopes, as early season snowfalls have opened ski resorts across the region, their earliest ever in recorded history. It looks like January right now. We have 10 inches of natural snow at the base area, great for building up ski base steps. Jack Fagonia from Wildcat, New Hampshire, told AccuWeather, "Our snowmaking crews have also been making snow since October 19th because it's just that f***ing cold." It definitely looks like there's no global warming to be found in New England, but there is skiing. And certainly no doubt the temperatures are running lower than normal, according to AccuWeather senior meteorologist Dave Dombeck. In fact, he said the temperatures are so below normal, they can't even lie, which is their mandate at the station. Whew, that's a boom. Can you believe that? I can't. In fact, I made it up. Autumn snow falls at Glencoe Mountain Resort. You know where that is? Yeah, that's in Scotland, and it never snows in October in Scotland. But it does now. Ow! You fraud! Ice and snow warnings issued for Scotland and Northern Ireland. The cold snap expected for the weekend could bring tricky conditions for roads and rail travelers in some parts of the country, as the Met Office warns people to get ready for Al Gore's fraud. That's a sharp drop in temperatures, kids. Weather warnings for ice and snow have been issued for parts of Scotland and Northern Ireland as Arctic air brings cold conditions to the whole of UK. A yellow warning for snow and ice applies for parts of central and northern Scotland between 2000 hours Friday and 1100 Saturday. Yellow warnings for ice covers much of Northern Ireland between 1 a.m. and 10 on Saturday. Icy conditions can lead to hazardous traveling conditions in the warning areas, but even outside those regions, totally fluxed. And that's a boom. Yes, totally. How to prevent freezing pipes and cold temperatures with no snow? Say it ain't snow. Yeah, there's going to be plenty of snow, so I don't think you got to worry about your pipes bursting because of no snow. Ow! This guy. But in case you're in one of those areas where it doesn't snow and it's freezing, like Fairbanks, Alaska, yeah, you might not want to empty your septic tank because all that poop and sludge actually produces heat, which is the same reason I make hugelkultur beds in my permaculture orchard, so that my actual flower beds create heat. So if you leave the poop and the junk all winter in your septic, you should create enough heat on the surface to prevent freezing of your septic pipes. Just one tip I can give you now. The other tip is to get your snow shovel out. Ho! Yeah, that is in fact supposed to be the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs. I doubt it. Anyway, take a look at the snowfall totals as Willa makes its way up in this nor'easter through the weekend. Here's the snow totals. So as of Sunday night, you're looking at some moderate snows in western Pennsylvania, in the Finger Lakes region near Binghamton, and heavy snows from the Catskills on up through the Dacks. Heavy snows through the whites and the greens, and all of Maine is going to be buried. So there should be no portions left unscathed from snow except the central coast here in down East Maine, all the way down here through the peninsula here in Nantucket. Snows could be all the way down through, yes, Connecticut. Can you say it? Yeah, they got enough money there to plow the roads, though, so we don't really give a fuck about those people. Most of them are in our government anyway. So take a look at how the week progresses here. So first Willa comes up, and then the snow moves into the west of the divide, where the entire Rocky Mountains are going to pick up heavy snow that is much needed all the way down to Texas. Yeah, Saturday, November 3rd. Boom! Texas Panhandle snow. And these models are showing snow covering the entire northern portion of the U.S. as we just get into November here, which, might I add, gives us 8 more weeks till Christmas, which we broke a record last year by all 50 states having snow by Christmas. I'm going to predict that all 50 states are going to have snow way before Christmas, because this is simply what's developing before our very eyes in our very lives. Yes, it is. And you know what? It's called science. So why don't you just drink a little bit of it in? It's delicious. And that's what we talk about on the program. We don't talk about the mainstream garbage. We don't talk about dogma. We don't talk about policy. We certainly don't talk about the bullshit called global warming. We talk about science, and it's delicious. Yes, it's also a boom. There's the snow that Al said would never fall, and it's falling in epic proportions. Here is the total accumulated precipitation through November 11th. It looks like that snow is going to fall heavy in the Cascades. Yeah, what does that mean for you? Well, it means that a volcano could erupt, and that snow could melt. Or it could just be really snowy and flooding on the coast here. Also, some flood capability here in these small regions in Texas, Okie, and Arkansas. And I would be really concerned for these regions flooding on the coast of Maine, because they're not going to be getting snow there. And heads up here, Keene Valley, you guys are going to get buried. Yeah, ice climbing, central. Yep. Can you say Chouinard's Gully in the nude? Thank you, Electroverse, for documenting Earth changes as we enter a grand solar minimum. Check out this cosmic ray flux sky. While Argentina wheat estimates are cut due to cold weather, Argentina's wheat crop will be 300,000 million tons smaller than expected. And that is a shit ton. Abnormally cold October weather, below average temps, heavy rains, damaging hail have affected key growing regions. And if you're picking up what we're putting down, these people are headed to the U.S. They're headed somewhere because there's no food where they live. Check out the seismic uptick worldwide on the Ring of Fire. Greece is still experiencing a multiplicity of aftershocks, which are reverberating and perpetuating out from the region. Here, no major quakes, no loss of life, but there is a general uptick in the Ring of Fire, and we're waiting for a large quake before Christmas. Remember that. 8+ magnitude, unfortunately. We're going to talk about Krakatoa, which is on the uptick, but worldwide volcano news update, we have Reventador, volcanic ash emissions, Fuego, Krakatoa, Dukono, Torialba, Sangay, and on and on. Even Seme Sopochnoi. I love saying that. It feels so good. Now, Krakatoa in the Sunda Straits is experiencing an uptick. Continuous volcanic ash emissions since Saturday, October 25th. That'll be Thursday. So let's read the report here real quick so we can get a better update. Here's the satellite imagery. Doesn't look like a lot of emission coming out, but you could see the numbers here. Lots of eruptions coming out from this volcano. Let's read the most current advisory. Not even going to let us do it. Yeah, it is. There it is. So here's Krakatoa. Let me decipher this from you. Yeah, nothing as far as lava is concerned. 2100 for the height of the ash. Minimal at best. But the government has now done a reassessment since 2005 of all the volcanoes in the Cascade Range. Are you ready for the assessment, kids? It's the same thing we've been saying for the last year. So it's nothing new. The same chart we've been showing you are the same warning volcanoes. Most importantly, Mount St. Helens and Mount Rainier. And then Mount Shasta, in my opinion. So come read the article. The U.S. government has warned 18 volcanoes now pose a very high threat to your lives. And you add that insult to injury to the cosmic ray flux that is perpetrating our atmosphere, which we reported on yesterday. This is the cosmic ray maximum, all-time highs ever reported in Maine, ever since we were able to report it, forever, since people have been there. Yeah. Heads up. I know it's a lot to drink in, but it's delicious. So keep drinking. It's working. Even if it has aspartame, some say aspartame, eruptions in the Cascade Range are guaranteed in your lifetime if you are under 50. And we're talking the whole cacophony of Cascadia. Yeah, my prediction is 5 to 8, which is low because I'm a realist. So in your lifetime, in the next decade, 5 to 8 volcanoes in this area, these triangles you're looking at are going to start blowing. Yes, they're going to start showing signs of blowing, and then they're going to go blow. Doesn't that suck? No, it blows. And that's science, which doesn't blow. But the Cascades do, so be prepared. Now let's talk about the bullshit coming out from the mainstream. There are 40 volcanoes erupting on Earth right now, and they claim that that's not strange. But if you read the fucking article just below here, they say the average amount of volcanoes erupting is around 20. So if you simply know math, then we have twice as many volcanoes erupting than normal. And that's not strange, but it is twice as many. So that is strange. And this article is totally a fucking lie. But it is Forbes, which is totally a fucking lie. So it makes sense. Yeah, it does. There's plenty to say on the matter. In fact, this entire article is a piece of shite. And if we just scroll down to the bottom, I am going to point out something very interesting. How full of shite they are. Any eruptions happening at the same time are nothing more than coincidences. That's a lie. Because what we now know is that volcanoes, specifically siliceous rich magma volcanoes, cinder cones, the violet ones, the ones that are cratonic, all of the Cascades, these are excited specifically due to cosmic ray flux. Yeah, and when cosmic rays increase, which is clearly happening over the last 2 years here, volcanoes increase. So by saying that the fact that we have twice as many volcanoes erupting on Earth right now rather than normal is not strange is a complete lie, Robin Anderson, you fucking fraud. This douchebag wears glasses that don't even have a prescription. I know it because I can tell from his smarmy fucking smile in his stupid profile pic. If you have time, please go bother this a-hole and tell him about the facts. The facts that he didn't read a single scientific paper on the nature of explosive eruptions and cosmic rays heating muons in the subsurface, causing the magma to then erupt in explosive manners across the globe. We now know this as fact. Correlation is not causation, but if the correlation between cosmic rays and volcano is true, then I don't give a about what you have to say about causation, because these cosmic rays cause siliceous rich magma volcanoes to erupt. So your whole premise that correlation is not causation is incorrect, because my correlation is causation. Wow! Oh my God, I'm so thirsty. Fucking idiots. This is what I've had to deal with since 1989. In academia, Nothing strange going on except an exact scientific correlation between a causation and an effect. Now, here's the fraud from Scientific America, another rag which you should never get a subscription to and use as toilet paper or to light a fire. Thankfully, we can get this information free from the internet and we can immediately erase it. Are volcanoes or humans harder on the atmosphere? Well, I'll tell you what's harder on me. The media. Because the media has no fact checking, is full of shit, and is absolutely publishing a narrative that is decided at the highest levels. None of this is information. It is all 100% disinformation. And it's so much disinformation, and I am so affected by it that I've spent the last 14 hours compiling a video, which I'm going to release tomorrow afternoon, on the fraud that is happening in the last 3 days through all levels of media worldwide, where they are claiming that humans affect the climate more than volcanoes. And that couldn't be further from the truth. I have so much damning evidence that these idiots only need to spend an instant or 1 second watching my video that I'm going to put out tomorrow, that they will immediately quit their job and hide in a cave with Al. That's how confident I am. I'm so confident I just closed that tab. That's how confident I am. Now let's take a look at the graph that I created over the last 14 hours. I just want you to soak it in, because the big black arrows that I put onto this data set are volcanic eruptions. Now, if you see the amount of temperature change on Earth as a result of these VEI 6 or greater eruptions, you will clearly see immediately that man could never affect climate like a volcano. Never. In fact, I'm going to present evidence tomorrow that the eruption of Samalas in 1257 affected the climate for 7 generations. Yeah, that's my low estimate. Do you know how fucking long that is? That's 210 years. And 210 years ago, 7 volcanoes were erupting on the west coast of the US, where millions of people now live. And if those 7 are erupting now, hundreds of thousands of people will burn to death in Lahars and Nouay-Ardon. Yeah, that's what the future holds. That is what you're going to be watching on mainstream media. Yeah, people being charred because they're not being warned to get the fuck out of harm's way. And when the volcanoes begin erupting, the temperature on the planet is going to plummet up to 1 degree C. Yeah, in a year. And do you know what that's going to do to global food supplies? Kill, 30% of the population. You know what else affects the Earth when volcanoes erupt? The other effect is sea level, directly affected to volcanoes erupting, which the mainstream will never, ever show you this graph. But I will, because I fucking made it. You can see on the left the eruption of Agong, the eruption of El Chicon, the eruption of Pinatubo. You could see where we started collecting satellite data in the beginning of global warming, which is totally bullshit. These are natural climate variability cycles, and we've been coming out of a mini ice age to a peak called solar max, and we're falling back off a cliff. And that is going to be exacerbated by volcanic eruptions. I feel like I'm talking to 4th graders, but sometimes we have to speak this way to the general population because they are sheep. Now, many of my subscribers, you love the presentations that I give because you have got the background knowledge. But if someone just comes in on this off the street, their mind will be blown. You know why? Because we're using data. Oh my God. And we actually use science, and we do not believe the dogma. We do not believe that consensus has any part of science, because it doesn't. Scientists should all fucking disagree. Those that are agreeing, they're in the same office and they have the same people paying them. Because science is completely moving. It's a moving doctrine. If it ever stalls and it ever stops, then it is not science. I remember learning about laws of nature. Yeah, they're bullshit too. You know why? Because a law of nature is simply something that has been said so many times that everyone believes it. Like the Big Bang. Over 90% of the information we now have today suggests that there has never, ever been a Big Bang. In fact, the universe has been here forever. And this is due to the fact that we believe that redshift was a determination of age in the universe, which was a complete false narrative. But yet now 80% of the people still believe that shite. And it's going to be hundreds of years before we erase that mistake. How long is the mistake of global warming going to last? Well, it doesn't matter because it's going to last to the end of the empire, which is coming soon. Mad Max, yes. I don't say it a lot because I'm not here to scare. I'm here to prepare. And I'm giving you the facts. Now, what you're looking at back here is some of the largest volcanic aerosol events in the last 1,000 years. Here's the 1257 Samalas, which is, I believe, a VEI 8. Here are the 1450 eruptions, the 1600 events. We have multiple events in 1627. We have some 1780 events in Krakatoa going off in 1680 again here, and then 1883 and 1815 Tambora. So it's these aerosols in orange on the major events. Let's take Samalas here. VEI 8, in my opinion. It literally cooled the planet for 140 years. Exacerbated by more aerosols that went into the stratosphere, maintaining the cooling. And what happened at the same time is cosmic ray flux was increasing as solar dynamics were decreasing, which is the same exact place we're in right now, kids. Boom. Solar depletion, freezing cold. Similar effect here back in 1450. You can see the big spike down here after the eruption. Major global cooling, which lasted over 100 years until the sun brought it back out. And then here at Solar Max, we had a major eruption similar to the Mount St. Helens 1980 eruption at Solar Max. Only at VEI 3 or 4 up in this region. Not significant enough to cool the planet. But these VEI 7s and 6s back here in the early 1800s, more than enough stratospheric aerosols to keep the planet cooled for over 50 years. And my proposition is that it actually kept the planet cooled for 150 years until about 1910 when the sun was able to break us back out of it. And there was another Danskard-Oeschger cycle, which saved us from the ice age that is imminent now during this grand solar minimum. Now that is an advanced class, and we'll get to that later. But thankfully, we had a Danskard-Oeschger uptick, bringing us back into Solar Max. And that's not going to happen for another 1,000 years. Whew, I'm thirsty. Cosmic rays are increasing. This leads to more volcanic activity. Currently, twice as many volcanoes are active and erupting on Earth than average. And it is my prediction that within 5 years, that number will raise to 60. That is a low estimate. In 5 years, there will be 60 volcanoes erupting on Earth. And in that 5 years, there will be at least one VEI 5 and one VEI 6, potentially a VEI 8. My highest probability for VEI 7 and 8 is over the next 13 years. But the uptick is going to happen before your very lives, which is going to cause cooling, and it's going to start in the Cascade region. Global markets in sell-off mode. Get out of Dodge or buy low, sell high, which is what I do. Yeah, global markets right now in weekend trading are showing a major sell-off. Monsanto's top weed killer now found in pet food as well as cereal. We knew that. I just added pet food in this awesome graphic. Monsanto condensed death food. We will not accept your fucking cookies, you Russian piece of rag. Are you prepared or are you unprepared? I'm prepared. I'm not scared. That's why my thumbs up. I don't know about you guys. You worry me. That's why I stay up late and do this shit. That's why I stayed up late in 14 hours and make that volcano video that we're putting out tomorrow with the truth about what the consequences of volcanoes erupting on Earth will be. But in the meantime, come over to the Oppenheimer Ranch Preparedness store. Resistance is fertile. Come here and resist. I just included a most awesome selection of UVC meters, radiation meters, EMF meters, the best on the market, from the cheapest pieces of crap for 20 bucks that you can feel happy about knowing that you shouldn't go out in the sun, to a $50 Amazon Prime ghost meter, EMF sensor, top of the line, 5 stars. One of the best products on the market for $120, the Advanced GQ EMF 380 V2 multi-feature electromagnetic radiation detector, 3-in-1 ELF. This is crazy. And if you want a good UVC meter, you have to pay. Yeah. The X-Tech SDL 470 UVAC light meter data logger is the best in the industry, and it's $900. If you want to chintz a little, there is another product that you can get, but it's not much cheaper. The cheapest UVC meter is the Go Pocket UV light meter. And this isn't even the UVC one. Let me find that one so I don't steer you in the wrong direction. Here, for $429. That's the cheapest you're getting away with it. And this is the lowest 5-star rated UVC meter in the world. So if you want a 5-star rated product that does UVC, this is as cheap as it gets. That is how much money you need. But if you're trying to save your arse and your skin, it might be worth it. If you're just worried about EMF, multi-field electromagnetic radiation, 5G, this baby is the tits, man. I had to say it. I'm sorry. I know it's illegal according to the FCC, and they're going to demonetize us, but this is the shiznit. I absolutely did 4 hours of research and found out that this product from reviews is the #1 product in the world for doing what it does. And this can really help you. It makes an ongoing graph. It's easy to read, and it shows many different types of EMF, electromagnetic radiation types. EMF, ELF, RF, and on and on. Customizable, and it's $120. It's totally affordable. Yeah, and it was developed by engineers and scientists. Wow. And if you buy it, the channel, you support the channel by supporting yourself. It also will give some of you peace of mind so that you know that it's safe outside or what have you, or the food that you're buying is safe. There's even radiation meters that do microrads, etc., that you can hook up to your phone on that list, so you can test your food when you buy it at the store. You could bring it to the supermarket and test all the fish if you're worried about radioactivity. So these products have practical purposes moving forward, because prior planning prevents piss poor performance for all you practical pricks. And that's a boom with a pop. I love each and every one of you. I cannot shove this information down your throat even deeper than I've already shoved it. It's delicious. Be safe. We love you. And that is a delicious, refreshing boom of cosmic ray proportions. Prepare now.